Hello, fellow streamers. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Streaming. We're up to episode 14, and small change we're doing now is we're going away from this season aspect that I've been going with. Originally, I thought I was going to do season 1, 2, 3, but I realized it doesn't make any sense because there's always a streaming season, right? So instead, we're doing away with season, and we're just going to keep going episode 14, 15, and counting upwards like that. In tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the mechanics of streaming, and we're going to do this from the beginner's perspective. So, overview style, really basic, the purpose being so that everyone who doesn't know anything about streaming can understand from a mechanical standpoint what streaming is. And of course, don't get intimidated by the word mechanics. It's basically just a way for me to describe how streaming works in a more block by block this style of explanation. And I just want to give a shout out to all of you on Instagram who has raised question, what is streaming and so on. It inspired me to talk about this in tonight's episode. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. And we're going to do a very flashy, in quotation marks, presentation style, utilizing the concept I already told. Keep it simple, start small, build what you got, and I'm just going to use paint. And first thing I'm going to do is just drop some black background in here because white is really white and bright. And then we're just going to do our boxes. So it starts here, and I'm going to go pretty much through the journey that I do from a mechanical or like process flow, if you will. So let's do it like this. See if we can get this to work. First time trying to do this in paint, so bear with me here, and that's okay. We're all beginners, and it's 100% okay to figure it out as you go. So we want a solid outline, but I want the outline to be color white. Can I do that? We can do a solid fill instead, and then see, can I do some text drop? Okay, so let's do like this instead. That would be better. Let's do text drop. Let's do background fill. And let's see what we get. So everything start with you have a concept. Message. So it all starts with, let me see, can I zoom in here? So it all starts with you having a concept, message, something you want to share with people, and do so in a live broadcast style setting. It could be that you are gaming and you want to become the next big streamer that is gaming a game, and you want to do that as, let's say, a profession, as the ultimate goal. Or it could be that, no, I'm gaming, I am just hanging around with friends, I just want to share the experience and also be able to record and download it later to, save those awesome gaming moments when they happen. Or it could be like you're into mindset and coaching and you just want to be able to get your message out there, inspire, empower people, but do so in a way where your viewers, your audience can interact with you versus just since you just do normal videos, you're just getting your message out there. And then people can comment, of course, and you can interact that way. But it's not live. It's not this back and forth, right? But the mechanic starts with you having an idea of what you want to do to stream. And streaming is is basically another word of just saying a live broadcast. But it all starts at the conceptual stage. That's the first thing you need to figure out. What do I want to stream? What do I want to put out there? Next part is you're going to need a streaming tool. Let's just call it tool for streaming. No, I like streaming tool better. Let's go with that. Whoops, sorry. Why does it? Streaming tool. All right. So what type of streaming tools are there? Well, it depends on where you start and where you're going, right? So I am on a computer, a PC, and I'm using a streaming tool which is free called OBS, which is a software that I use to share my screen, the web camera, and the voice through the microphone. It's possible to do the same just through your phone. And you might have another setup, but we're going into the mechanics, so we're not going to dive into exactly what the tooling is. More like, yeah, you have something you want to get out there. What's the next step? Obviously, you need some way of getting it out there, and that's the streaming tool. In this case, like I said, OBS is what captures everything and wants to broadcast it. Okay? And feel free to jump in with any questions you have if you're watching at home, or later on if you're watching this video and I didn't quite get the concept, or you explained it really well, or I'm stuck here, can you help me? Go ahead and just drop a comment. I would really love to help you and hear from you, because I really want to connect and engage with you, the viewer audience, because I'm getting, let's say in short, my mission is to empower you to be able to do this, and we can crack on from there, just so I don't go out on a tangent. All right, so now you have a tool that allows you to stream, and it actually broadcasts. Let's see if we can do. Let's see. Let's do. Was it too small? Maybe. Oh, that's huge. It's black. That's why. All right, and the streaming tool allows you to. I'm just going to do this. Supposed to be some type of icon or something for indicating that you're broadcasting. And what are you broadcasting to? Well, I need to change the background. That's why. There we go. There we go. So the streaming tool broadcasts to a. And this is how you know I haven't rehearsed this one bit before. Black, please. All right, now you can see the text. So it's broadcasting to some type of streaming platform. Now, it can be a dedicated streaming platform, like, for instance, Twitch.tv, which is the one I'm using. Actually, let me do this. Twitch.tv. Figure out how I can edit this later. All right. Or I know you can do this on TikTok. They call it live, their live function. YouTube also have a way to stream and go live. Not sure if Instagram does. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They are probably more out there. But they still have this capability of receiving a streaming broadcast and putting that up on their platform. So we need one of those. And if you're going to do this, in my case, I created an account on Twitch. It's free to start and use that, so that I have because this is the interface that the viewer goes to consume, watch your stream, and ultimately, of course, interact with you, right? So that's where they can do that. That's the next step you need. All right. So now we have something that we want to reach out there with, right? The people are like, okay, gaming, mindset coaching, business, whatever. You have something like in here looking to get out there and put it out there, and you want to do that live while streaming. And this arrives then, your streaming broadcast arrive at a streaming platform, for instance, Twitch.tv. Now, you can, of course, set up more things here, like profile, banners, graphics, and just setting up your social profile. I'm not going to dive into that because I've done that already at length in the previous Let's Talk Streaming. So go ahead to my YouTube channel, where my handle is StreamingZeroToHero. And check the playlist, which is called Let's Talk Streaming, and you can review them, and then you're going to see them working on social profiles and such. And you can actually see how to set it up. That's also part of it. And what this platform, the streaming platform, gives us is, like I said, it's the interface between the viewer and the audience and your broadcasting stream, like you're getting out there. So what all of this, I think, streaming platforms have in common is they record your stream, and if they don't, then it doesn't really matter, because the way I see it is using OBS, even though Twitch in my case saves the stream, I still have the recording of this exact stream on my hard drive because I want to be in control of it, right? Be able to do post-editing, post-production, which I will get to here next, and have that file on Twitch. As a beginner, Twitch only saves your stream for, I believe it's 5 or 6 or 7 days or something like that. So it's not very long. So that's another reason why I just stored the video file. So we've already shared 2 things. So from this stream, and I would say on average, or not on average, but any good, let's say, streaming platform does the following. I'm just gonna do this. And this is actually what we can get from the tooling. All right. Sorry about that. I hope you guys didn't hear me cough. All right, I'm just gonna keep the green background. Anyways, so it does give us something. So the streaming tool, it gives us the recording in a file on the PC, or if you're on your phone, example. I haven't tried this out myself, but I'm pretty sure that you should be able to have a recording of it on your phone. I'm just gonna do phone record file ? All right. What the streaming platform done is it's the, like I said, it's the interface between your viewers. It's the interface between your viewers and audience and yourself to broadcast. And it also saves the stream. Depending on the platform you choose, they may have more or less additional options, like you can do some basic editing of your stream, select highlights, things of this nature. And of course, your viewers and people coming to the site can find your videos, watch it, and comment and interact with it like you would normally expect from normal social media. Now, here is where this gets interesting, because not only can, there's also another thing we have here. Let's just draw an arrow for that. It allows us to set up a profile, which I mentioned. And from here, we can actually link to our other social media profiles. Example, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right. I'll get back why this is, or actually, let's go there, because so let's do, we can do here. So now I'm gonna get here in a second. Just need to do let's continue with the blue one. Yeah, so we talked about, and on the streaming platform Twitch.tv, we can set up a profile and we can then link to our other social media so that people who have those accounts can find you there, right? And on this platform, for instance, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram are also suitable for smaller type video, shorter time YouTube Short, vertical, on the phone, on the go, because with streaming, a few success factors are consistency and the amount of hours you stream. Based on, I went through the Twitch as achievements, and that was at the core of it. And it kind of makes sense. As a streamer, if that's your main way of, let's say, if that would be your only way of having people find you, obviously the more often you stream and the longer you stream will maximize the chances that someone will find your channel, right? However, that said, I say it's more important that you are consistent with whatever works for your life and start small and grow into that, because that's more easier to maintain rather than I'm just going to stream 24/7 for the next 2 weeks, as a really extreme example, and then you just get overwhelmed, burnt out, and then you just stop for 2 weeks and maybe stop altogether. But maybe you can do 30 minutes every 2 or 3 or 4 days. I don't know. You know your life and schedule better than I do. But find those time slots that you can consistently, over time, show up for every time and time and time and again. And that's one way of people to know you. Now, to further increase it outside of those time slots, and of course on other platforms, we can, from example Twitch.tv or the streaming platform, set up our profile, a link, and say, hey, we are also on YouTube, TikTok, or wherever else you are, right? I'm currently on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, for example. And here we can also push or publish our recordings, and that we did and got from the computer, but we can repurpose these. Ooh, that was not possible to read. Now, when I say repurpose videos, you can, okay, so what do I do as an example, right? So I take the entire recording of Let's Talk Streaming, which is the longest form video I do at the moment. And if I have longer section where I'm just quiet, waiting for something, I try to cut it out. So I do some post-production editing of the videos. I do speech to text, so I can extract the caption, translation things, which I upload, and then I upload it to YouTube. Add the caption so that someone watching the phone who may not have a hard time understanding me, my voice, or don't have audio on, they can still follow along. And that goes to YouTube. But then parts of that, sometimes I just take a highlight of it or like a part out of it, and I turn it into a short form video. And then I do some other like thumbnails, captions, and so on. And then I upload it to YouTube and or YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, and I will also be doing it to Facebook. Now, as that goes out, it gives me more chances that a viewer will see the video, like it, hopefully, that's what we're going for, right? Come back to my profile, because these other social media platforms also allows more often than not that we can set up a profile and actually send people back to either your other media sites, right? So it's kind of becoming a bit of a circle. And we can also push them back to Twitch. And what if in our repurposed video we say, hey, you know what? I'm streaming every day, Monday through Sunday, Swedish local time between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Make sure you head on over to Twitch and my Twitch account, which is StreamingZeroToHero. If you want to catch me in the stream as it happens and interact with me live, ask me questions. Are you stuck on something? I would love to just have this conversation with you live. So if that sounds good to you, then head on over there and you can check it out. That was both a plug, shameless plug, right? And it also exemplifies the point of how you can use these other social media sites as a way to leverage just having that ability to get out and get in front of more people and have them driven back, let's say, to your stream where they can interact with you live. And as you pass this traffic around, the platforms will grow with your audience and followers and things, interaction, comments, and so on. And sure, when you start, you're starting out with zero of that. And I'm starting out with zero of that. And I'm starting to see some growth now. But that's what's possible with the mechanics. That's why I see that streaming is just more than just streaming to one site, especially if your goal is to grow it. Then you also need to repurpose and have a presence on other sites, because it maximizes your chances that your target audience or like your viewer, like whoever you want to really connect with, can find it and find its way back to your stream, broadcast on your streaming platform. So I'm just checking how far we've gone. We've gone 20 minutes. All right, we're doing it. So at the core, I would say this is the basic mechanics of it in terms of how the big major components fit together and the flow between them. Now, there are some more, let's say, on a more detailed level, because this is conceptual level, right? There are similar mechanical steps in the streaming tool you use. If it's a phone, OBS, we have Streaming Labs, which is another on the PC, and there are other tools for it. And you will have mechanical step inside of these two. I'm not going to go into that in this stream because that's just going to be too detailed and take too long. I have gone through some how-to videos that are up on my YouTube, where I'm also, my channel there is StreamingZeroToHero. So if you really want to get started and you're just curious about the steps, head on over there. I think you have a challenge series you can look at that quickly goes over it, and additional videos that just covers it more in detail on how to get set up. Now, we're still talking about mechanics, something that you 100%, if you have the ability to learn and take action, can do. nothing of what I've shared so far is for things outside of your control. Maybe, I mean, I forgot something. You actually need an internet connection of some kind. Otherwise, it's hard to get anywhere. So you, of course, need an internet connection. I need to move that. That if that goes down, that can be a little bit outside of your control. I'm just going to do this and like an arrow there. Okay. But this is all skill set that you can learn. 100%. You can learn this and you can get started. And that's what I mean with the mechanics of streaming. Now, sure, they are for Twitch and stuff. There are also additional mechanical steps, but that's just clicking 1, 2, 3. So whatever. Okay, you have to have an idea what you want to do. Only you can do, but you can figure it out. Streaming tool, you need to find the tool you have. If you have a computer, if you have PC, I'm using OBS to get started, and I show you how to do that. And all you need to do is figure out, follow the steps, learn how to click 1, 2, 3, and get that started. Next up, you need to create a streaming platform if you don't have that already. You need to create an account on the streaming platform. If you were to create a streaming platform, I'm not even sure if I could do that. That's it, advanced. But you just need an account, fortunately enough. So you can head over on twitch.tv, create an account, for example, follow the steps, 1, 2, 3, fill it out. I also have videos on that on my YouTube, StreamingZeroToHero. Next up is just combining the two and just, connecting your streaming tool with your streaming platform, pushing the start stream if you're using OBS button, and get your message out there. If you are a gamer just wanting to share your game, then you already have a computer. If you're a PC gamer or you have call it a computer gamer. I'm not thinking about phone because I haven't done so much streaming on phone yet. But all you need is OBS and you can start. Share your passion about the game. Or if you want to show something on the screen. The next step up, if you want to interact more with your audience, you may or may not want a web camera, may or may not want a microphone, and that's similar in style where it's just, follow steps 1, 2, 3 of the mechanics of using it, configuring it in the streaming tool, having that pushed to the streaming platform. Same goes with the post-production editing. It's again just mechanics we're talking about now. It's just following step 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing that. And I'm also focusing, like I said, I'm trying to be just a little bit better for every stream, learning something every day because I want to stream daily, and you can fit this into whatever schedule and time slots you have, as long as you are consistent, right? And you will grow and you will get there. And I'm getting to, and then of course we have, as we're uploading videos to this other social media platform and also the streaming platform, let's say a mechanic is, okay, so what title do you want to give, like what headline or what you want to call your stream episode, like stream session? And then, okay, what do you want your video to be named on YouTube and the other parts, right? And have a description. And it may sound a lot now, I realized when I mentioning all these steps, right? But you don't have to start having all of this set up before you go, with a few exceptions, and that's in white here, really. Something to broadcast and get out to there, you need a streaming tool and an internet connection so you can connect to the streaming platform and broadcast. So that's the first thing to figure out. And then the next thing to continue growing and taking those next steps is doing these other things around there. That's the mechanics. And that is what I've been focusing on for the past 12, 13, maybe 14 days. And I'm starting to tiptoe into the next one, which is more dynamics and content and some pre-production, like research and finding things out. But I can focus more on my focus on it now because I taken the time and focusing on only taking this step and getting comfortable doing that. And then the next step of doing this part here. And now I'm starting to get up to the next level where I can start to look into the next step. So I think I'm going to have this session short today because of my voice. I do have a little bit of a sore throat. But that's not going to stop me because it's light, mild symptoms. It's not going to stop me from being consistent and showing up for you here. Of course, What I want you to hear with that is health is important. I know myself. I know I can do this. This is light symptoms. You take your health serious. And if you're sick, you're sick. Focus on your health. That's important, right? So I'm not saying, oh, I'm really sick, I should be consistent. That's not what I'm saying. Take care of your health. And I'm going to leave it at that. So this was, hopefully, it was a 30-minute run through of mechanics perspective of it, like I call it. Highly doable. I think you can, or I know you definitely can do this. And yeah, like I said, when you watch this, do you have questions? Do you like what I'm hearing? Is this a good way to explain? Do you understand? Anything like that. I would love to hear from you. Just drop a comment where you find this. And also, if you have obstacle challenges or other questions, just go ahead and put that as a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I will catch you in the next stream. Have a good one.